Hi everyone, this is Lee and welcome to Tribal Building Secrets. I'm so excited to have you here. So for the next 14 days, every single day you're going to have an activity sheet and I'm going to take you through the process to help you to look at building a tribe that attracts the right members into your community, ensuring that, obviously these are people who ultimately will buy from you once you've built your like, and trust. So it's all about having the plan in place first. However, the very first thing is focusing on, it's like everything, it's like what's the big rally cry? What's the vision? What's the purpose? Because we understand that the purpose, the vision, the values, these are the attributes that rally the group together. We rally together for a purpose. We rally together for a common vision. And you want to attract the people into your group who are actually aligned with your vision and your purpose and your values. So let's get stuck into today's session. So what's the difference between a tribe and a group? Well, a tribe, they're a group of people who have a common ground, a common purpose. They have something in common. They believe in the same ideas, philosophies. They're really aligned with your vision and your values and your purpose of the tribe as well. So these are people who are engaged, and they become almost like we talk about raving fans, where they start to edify, they start to follow you, and whatever you release or whatever you broadcast, they're waiting to actually see that information. So they're engaged and they're following. So this is something that when you look at, whereas a group is not. A group is just a group of people, and maybe they're disengaged, they're not following you, there's no big vision, there's no big purpose, there's no big passion or anything like that going on as well. But a tribe is about you as a leader looking at creating a community of people who want to hear from you. They're waiting for you, because what you're doing in your community is you're encouraging, you're inspiring, but you're also adding a lot of value to your community as well. So they will want to stay with you. They won't want to leave, because they see the value that you're adding within the tribe and the community. Now, a tribe, if you have loyal fans or you have people who follow you all the time, if for some reason Facebook ever shut down or anything like that, or algorithms change, or Mark decides to close the opportunities out for Facebook, these people will follow you offline. They'll follow you to another platform, because they're your tribe. You're the leader, and they will follow you anywhere. And that's what we want to try and create. So you see how important it is to have a rally cry, something to bring people towards you on the same common ground as well. So when we're actually working with our groups and looking at helping our groups move forward, there's three things that it's always important to remember and to put into our group. And one is to be as personal as you can. Now, I don't necessarily have to tell my group everything about my personal life, but I tell them about my vulnerabilities. So if you ever hear a really good story, you always hear about the vulnerability, the internal desires. So the internal desires could be your own doubts, your own thought, your own fears, how you overcome those fears. So that's being really, really personal. And people like to know that you're the same as them. So they can build that like and trust with you if they know that you've gone through the same struggles as what they've been through, or what they're in at the moment. So this is a reason why it's important to understand your audience as well. You need to stay relevant to your audience. So say, for example, I had a group and they were coming on board, and I wasn't reaching out to a specific audience. I may have people in that audience, just say, for example, they could be cat lovers, they could be dog lovers, horse lovers. They're all animal lovers, all different animal lovers. But the point is, I may be setting up programs to train dogs. So therefore, the cat lovers won't be interested in my dog training. And of course, the horse lovers won't be interested in my dog training as well. So then you've got to ask yourself, what's the point of having a group that's so open that it has a huge net and brings everyone on board if they're not your potential customers, if they're not your potential clients? So try to be a bit as specific as you can within your audience when you're communicating to them, such as my audience is around business growth, and there's lots of different things that I can bring on board within that area of business growth. And we'll be talking that more as we go through the program when I get into the areas around creating social content, social media content and everything else as well. And the other thing is create some mouth-watering anticipation. It's about getting excited and if you've ever heard a movie that's being released, if you ever listen to a movie that's being released, often you'll see trailers up first happening before the movie comes out. So they're all teasers. And often, as we know, when you watch, I suppose, a series of episodes on TV, whether it be a show, could be Gilmore Girls or whatever you're watching, that show at the end, they always leave it open loop. So they don't close off. They want you to watch the next day to find the next part of the journey, the next part of the series. So it's also about creating that hype, that mouth, that anticipation that, you're releasing something new, is coming out soon, watch out. So we've got to create that as well, keep that hype as well. So if you do those three strategies of being personable, so don't talk at them, talk at their level, talk at that level, obviously create some information that is important and valuable to them, and also create anticipation. So then we go on to one important thing I want you to know is do not spam your group. Okay, so it's really important that if people aren't anticipating your message, they won't tune in, they'll tune out. You have to earn permission to speak directly to a specific audience and deliver what they promise. So what I'm talking about spam your group is if you just keep on throwing your courses or things for them to buy from your group too early before that trust and like is built, you're going to lose them. They're going to tune out. So the ratio between being able to promote in your group and also adding value and content, the value and content and engagement in your group is about 80% and your promotion is about 20%. So that ratio, 80% engagement, promotion, inspiration, all of those things that you're going to learn as you go through the program, they're the keys to actually get your people to understand you. So I wouldn't offer them any services unless they reach out to you on a personal level or whatever. I probably wouldn't offer them any paid services until at least a month or 2 months of you continually adding value. And also watching and seeing, are they engaging in your group as well? So when the engagement level builds, that's an indication that they're starting to trust you. And we know that when they trust and like us, then they're more likely to buy our services. So why do we want to build the tribe? What's the reason for you to want to build the tribe? So I want you to have a bit of a think about some of these questions, and it may help you at the right time now to grab a piece of paper and probably pause the video and go through those questions to help you give an idea of why do you want to build a tribe. So what is the reason why you want to build the tribe? Is it just because you want to gain more clients, or do you also want to contribute back to the world, contribute back to others as well? I think there has to be a balance of both. It depends on how you're driven as to what type of person you are. But I think most people, when they invest time in being an entrepreneur and being involved in a group, building a group, it's that also giving back to others, helping people to evolve, helping people to transform in whatever your products and services are doing. The next thing is how will you serve your tribe members? What are your skills? So stop and ask yourself those skills as well. So how will you serve your members? What are your skills? And this is where you go back into your history. What are you really good at? What are you natural at? Like when I look at my history, I look at things like when I first started at personal training, I look at all my external skill sets. I became a personal trainer, I became a coach, I became a counselor, I became a NLP strategist, I became a trainer, I became an executive coach, leadership coach, and now business strategist. So all of those skills and mindset. So all of those skills, I can actually help my group with all those skills because they're the skill sets I've learned. But we also have to consider also our inner skill sets as well. So how do you tick? How do you work? For myself, again, you look at things like I'm a good problem solver, I'm resilient, I'm confident, I'm able to pick myself up when things don't work well. I'm able to reflect back and gain my lessons on the way when I have my setbacks. I'm passionate, I'm enthusiastic, I care, I give people hope. All of these things are also looking at not just your skill sets, but also what are your internal drivers that will help them to move forward. What is something that you will make a difference to the others, and also it'll help to impact the world? So my big thing that I suppose my rally cry, part of my rally cry, or part of what I'm against, is people ripping off new business owners. So I feel that if I can educate and I can help and guide business owners go through the process of creating, I call business savviness or business smart, that's going to impact the world because more people are going to be successful in their business and therefore more people will actually create a huge impact because if I'm working with someone who wants to, because when I work with someone, they have a desire to impact the world as well. So I become a small part of the catalyst of that person to move through. And what is something that is a deal breaker for you? Understanding what are your deal breakers? Like my deal breaker for me and my group are people who just want to spam. That's a deal breaker for me. So if I have anyone in my group who wants to spam and I give them warnings and they don't abide by my warnings, they're out because I don't like takers in my group. I want people to give and understand that to me, if you jump into someone's group and you try to grab all of their audience for yourself, it's not the way I do business. It's no loyalty there. So that person hasn't joined your group for the right reasons. The rally cry isn't there. They've joined your group so that they don't have to build their own group, so that they can actually take your clients away from you and start promoting their business. So that's what I'm against. So work out what are you against as well. So what are some of your tribal goals? I want you to sit down and think about, set some goals. What are your tribal goals? So for example, some of your goals may be, how many members do I want to grow my group by? Do I want to grow, say for example, say in 6 months time or 3 months time, how many members do I want in there? Now, there's a big difference between being active members and just having members for the sake of members. So I would even go a step further down and look at how many active members would you want in your group. Active members are the people who engage, they respond, they're active in the group, they're helping others. When you do a live, they show up, they've got the buy-in from you and they engage in the group as well. So maybe let's go a step deeper and go, how many active members would you like to have? And how much would you like to earn from your tribe? Having we're going to put together, further the track, there's going to be other workshops I'm putting together, and that's all around having your ideal, irresistible offers and everything else. But this is the starting point, is creating your presence first. So how much would you like to earn from your tribe? What's your figure? Would you like to earn $10,000 a month from your tribe, for example? So work out maybe in the next 12 months how much you would like to earn from your tribe as well. And how much time are you going to set aside to actually lead your tribe? So how this works is 30 days of leading your tribe. It's fairly intensive. It's fairly intensive training because it's like everything. When I get a car, if I got a stored car and I want to get the car moving, it takes a lot of energy to get the car moving. Once the car is moving, then it's easier because the momentum is taken in place as well. Just like everything that we do when we first start a new project off or we do something different, it takes a lot more time to get it started, to get it to the tipping point of it running itself. So so it's important for you to sit down and schedule your calendar. You may take 1 hour a day or something like that. But again, as we go through the program, I'll be showing you the best ways and best practices and the best ways to automate as much as you can within your tribe, so you're not tied down to the keyboard. Now here, this is kind of important. It's like, have you got any beliefs that will hold you back from building the tribe? So have you got any doubts? Have you got any fears? And remembering, it's not so much about not having the fear, it's all about not letting the fear stop you. So sometimes when I ask you to do different things and you step into the areas of not being comfortable, you may start to have some of your doubts, and your own fears may start coming out. So when they come out, it's about acknowledging those fears, but still pushing through those fears and completing the activities that need to be done. So you will be stepping into unknown territory. You will be doing things that you're not used to doing, and sometimes we want to play safe, but we know by playing safe, that means we go into hiding. And when we go into hiding, then what happens then is we don't actually then become visible on the platform. And this is what this is all about. It's creating an online presence where you're seen as the authority and a leader of a community. So it's about you becoming visible. So you will be stepping into places unknown. So just be aware of that and get yourself really, really focused for that as well. You will also need to be organized and focused. So I'll be teaching you through the program how to structure, how to automate, how to do everything as before, but it's about being organized and structured and following the structure and templates that I give you. Self-management, okay, so a lot of people, self-management, time management. A lot of people go, I haven't got time, and they throw their hands in the air, but you've got to sit back and go, is it really a time issue, or is it only my self-management issue? Like, we all get the same amount of time. Everyone gets 24 hours a day. Now, if I'm, for example, watching TV every night and watching soap operas and things like that, perhaps I can manage my time a bit more effectively by jumping on and doing the work I need to do to keep my tribe moving along as well. So you need to be very honest with yourself that as well. So if you ever hear people say to you, I haven't got time, maybe it's a self-management issue more than a time issue. You need to have your passion to drive you, and this is why passion is important. The tribe is a rally cry. It's passionate, so you need to drive you as well. And remember, there's no quick fixes. There's no magic bullets. Everyone who's successful in their business, they all work damn hard to get to that success. And that becomes simply little baby steps, one at a time, but it all boils down is to consistency. So if you start to implement the strategies that I give you, then you stop doing it, then the consistency has gone, and then your tribe will quickly disengage if you're not showing up and looking after them. So this is the exercise you're going to do. You're going to create your hero's journey. So this is what I want you to do. Every movie is based on the hero's journey that are successful. So let's look at a movie. I like a movie that I watched just recently called The Gladiator. Okay, so this is called the hero's journey. So we had the Gladiator. So none of you've seen the movie, not, but Star Wars is based off this. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, you know, all the big stories. They're based on this formula called the hero's journey. So we've got the Gladiator. The Gladiator is out there. The Gladiator has been called away from home on a mission, and he's the general of general of the war. Fighting this group, looking after, I think it was Maximus and all that sort of thing. So back in the Roman times and things like that. So he was called to the journey, looking after his looking after his group and fighting. So he was called away from home. Now, he may not have done that reluctantly. He may have not wanted to do that, but he stepped over the threshold and he went off and he became the general of this team of people. So he left his parents behind, left his family behind and everything else as well. So once he goes in that, he goes into the unknown where he's doing really well. He has to overcome some challenges. He has to overcome the barriers, everything else on the way, because he has to transform. So on that way there, he ends up being Maximus ends up dying. His son got put on the throne. His son was against him, and they end up capturing him. And even though he was a general of the army, he became a slave. And back then they would have the gladiator and the slaves, and they would hop into Colosseum of the Rome, and they do the battles and everything else as well. So he actually became a slave. So he went through that journey, but in that journey, him being the slave, he became the leader of the other slaves as well, all the other gladiators and everything else as well. He became the leader. So he was going through a transformation along that way as well. But he also had a mentor that came to him and a helper that came to him, and that was the person who actually owned all the gladiators. He started to confide in him and I suppose tell him about his journey when he was a slave and how he gained his freedom from being the slave. So they go through all these challenges, they have these battles, they learn to work together, they learn to overcome the Romans, the gladiators start to dominate, and the transformation started to occur because what had happened there, the audience, the people watching, started to turn against Rome and started to actually back the gladiators, who were the slaves. So there was a shift, and of course that really threatened the Roman king, because he could see all of his community was turning against him and going towards the gladiators and wanting to see the underdog win, kind of thing as well. So that was the huge transformation. So the atonement is, how did he impact the world? Well, everyone started to see the gladiators. They started to see who they were, and they started to back them and everything else as well. Now, unfortunately, the gladiators, such as the Braveheart as well, they didn't return back. They died along the journey. But the message was so powerful as what they did and what they said and everything else. So there's lots of transformation went with them. So this particular person never, ever returned back. So this is how you create your hero's journey. So we all have our own hero's journey. So as to what was your calling point to go into business? Did you go into straight away? What were your external barriers? What were your internal barriers? What were your doubts? What was a catalyst that made you step across the line? And then what are the things you had to overcome? What are the plan you had? What are the barriers? How did you transform, not just getting success in your business, but also what were those messages, those insights that you learned, those inner insights you learned along the way? So it's about you stepping through that process, and obviously we all here, what I'm talking about now, we all return back to where we are. So then as your business grows, you'll go onto another journey. You'll keep on pivoting, keep on growing. So in your activity sheet, there's a step-by-step process for you to look at your hero's journey. So when you're looking at your hero's journey, you want to really write as a story writer, telling a story to children and telling a story. So in there needs to be emotion, there needs to be deep down realizations. You need to come up with the truth. And most of that truth is your internal barriers that you went through. So once you start telling your story, that other people will be inspired by you and motivated by you. So when you tell them the journey, then they're more acceptance of your success. If you brag just about your success and don't tell them about your transformation and your journey along the way, they'll turn off. They'll think you're just bragging. But when they hear the story which leads them into your success. They go, I can do that too, which is what we want them to do. We want them to believe in themselves. So I'm going to walk through your activity sheet. So I'll bring my screen up for you in a moment, and we'll go through your activity sheet. Make sure you understand everything. Again, once you finish the video, go through your activity sheet. And as I go through your activity sheet, I'll tell you the activities that you need to do on that sheet as well. Talk to you soon. Bye. Your income that you want to generate from your group, along with how many members you want in your group. So first of all, you need to go through your checklist. So on every session, we have a checklist. Tick through that. Watch the intro video. So if you haven't watched the intro video, go back and watch this. This is the topic video, so you tick that off, and then you'll go through the activity sheet. And in the activity sheet, you'll go through the hero's journey. And then when you're finished, I want you to go to our Tribal Building Secrets community group. I want you to do a Facebook Live and actually tell us what your rally cry is. What's your purpose? Now, I know that could be a bit scary for some of you. I want you to practice in the group. It's a good way to do your Facebook Lives in the group, because it's a safe area and everyone's learning. So everyone's there to encourage you and support you. So I highly recommend that you do a Facebook Live. If you are really stuck on doing the Facebook Live, then you can do a post. But I would encourage you to do a Facebook Live in that closed community. And when you do your Facebook Live, if you can tag it Rally Cry Complete as the tag on top of the, when you do the video, it helps me to be able to quickly scan through the group on a regular basis and pick up everyone so I can actually watch and listen, so I can give you some feedback. So this is your hero journey. We talked about that. So these are the steps that you'll be going through, and you'll be simply going through that motion. You'll go through all the questions of the hero journey, and remembering we're wanting you to go deep, go with your emotions and your desires and your inner struggles, because that's what's going to rally people around you. When you're finished doing your hero's journey, then there's just a few questions for you to look at that you complete about how many members do you want, what by date, how much money do you want to earn. Again, you can summarize your journey, your rally cry in there, and then also what is your deal breaker. So what is something that you're completely against, that if your members did do that, you would automatically remove them from the group. So looking forward to seeing you in the Facebook group. Please do your Facebook Live, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.